Is Michael ever wrong? Huh, that's an interesting question. Um,
Hi, I'm Michael Beauclerc, and I specialize in drumline, and I teach 4 ensembles a week. One of the main ones is St. Michael's College School. I'm also the founder and executive director of the Canadian Drumline Association.
Hello, my name is Seung Jae, and I am currently a grade 12 student at St. Michael's College School, and I like to hit things with sticks. My first encounter with Michael was actually my summer of grade 6, going into grade 7. I attended the Sounds of Summer Camp by Yamaha at St. Michael's College School, and that's when I first met Michael.
When we're designing programs, we're trying to make each group as strong as it can be. We're trying to eventually compete at the end of the season. And so much like a sport coach, like a football coach, you can see the young players coming in, and you're trying to see who has the most potential and who has the most desire, and try to cultivate those skills in that young student right away. And so often we can see 2 or 3 years ahead of the time who our next leader is going to be. And so we could see that with Seung Jae. By the time he was in grade 8, we knew that he was going to be the captain of the drumline someday.
The thing is, I actually didn't want to go to the camp because I didn't know what I was going to expect. I was actually a piano player before I started drumming. But my mom made me go to the camp, and after that I was like, wow, this is really cool.
My father brought me out to my first drumline rehearsal, and I didn't want to go because I imagined just walking down the street with a feather in my hat. And I just thought, that is so lame. I'm a rock and roll drummer, I'm not going to march with a feather in my hat. And then I came to the first rehearsal and I saw kids that were younger than me drumming really well. And then I saw the instructor play like a flawless double stroke roll, and I was, okay, I have to do this. Marching band culture was huge in Canada in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And a big part of it being huge is that it was in our school systems. And then with cutbacks, it slowly started disappearing. They used to close St. Clair Avenue in Toronto to parade the whole marching band at school to the football game of the other school. And we couldn't imagine that today, having police shut down one of the main streets in Toronto for a football game. But we had that culture here in Canada, and we slowly let that slide away. And something that the Americans have done really well is they've done the opposite, and they've picked it up and ramped it up. And so they have got the idea that if you take a sporting event and you add the marching band, you add the music, you add the football, you add the hot dogs and the terrible food and the clothing and all the hype, and it gets everybody in the whole community there. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we had individual marching bands competing with each other, but we didn't really have it in schools. And those groups have slowly fizzled out over time as well. So when we started working with Yamaha and started working with schools to start programs, there was only about 2 scholastic drumlines in Canada. So we are now sitting 15 years later at about 200 ensembles across Canada, and we have 85 of them competing in our national organization. So the growth has been really incredible.
When you go into any high school in the States, you're automatically in the drumline if you want to be, because there's drumline everywhere. But in Canada, not so much. So the fact that I was able to grow up to the founder of the Drumline Association in Canada, and the fact that I got to march with one of the best scholastic drumlines in Canada, just with that I feel very fortunate because I've learned so much from it. Before I started drumming, I didn't really have an identity. I didn't play sports, didn't have much friends. But after I started drumming, I started to have an identity. People call me the drummer boy. And I'm always on stage, so that got rid of my stage fright and gave me confidence. So drumming has given me so much and has taught me so much, and that came from my mentors and my senior leaders. So having said that, receiving all of that, I think it's only right for me to give back to the community and the younger peers.
I think it's important to pass on music to our students because we're passionate about it and we want other people to be passionate about it, and we don't want it to disappear after us. I think it's natural for anybody, if they really enjoy something, that they want it to grow and they want more people to enjoy it with them. And so music would be no different. But I think music in some ways can be an easier pitch because we don't realize that it is everywhere all the time.
It's just part of human nature. Like, it was just there in the first place. I don't know, like 40,000 years ago, like cavemen were probably like drumming in their caves or something, you know? Like there was like always music, right? And if we take out music, we're just taking out a chunk of human nature and just throwing it in the trash, so.
I don't even think it's possible. Like during horrific wars, soldiers are still singing to pass the time in the middle of the night, right? So I don't think it's possible.
It's just like always there. It's just,
yeah, it's
just absolute.
It's part of being a human being.